Hi guys, today we are going to talk about pube shaving and how to do it safely and comfortably. I have literal horror stories from doing this wrong in the past using crazy things, so let's go over some do's and don'ts when it comes to pubic hair shaving. Before I get started, please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Please also check out my new bottoming course at the links below. I do have visual guides on there, you won't be disappointed. And of course, don't forget to check out my premium douche kits, fully discreet and shipped right to your doorstep. Also at the links below. Definitely don't use your facial razor to shave your pubes. This is my facial razor and it's from Gillette from Costco, and this was actually my go-to when I was growing up. Like, I didn't know that like there were other ways to shave and like trim, so I was like, why don't I just use my facial razor on my pubes? Like, that's the only way I know how to shave. And so I would get my regular shaving cream and I would like lather like my balls and like my shaft and like my entire like growing area with that shaving cream, and I would just go for it and just go for that like super tight shave with my literal mustache razor. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world, but like, first of all, when you go for like a super tight shave and it's like a sensitive area, like those areas and the hairs will grow back so prickly and so like uncomfortably. Every single time I shave my pubes using this razor, my pubic hair will grow back like super, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like when like your armpit hairs are like super like tightly shaved and like they grow back super prickly. So like when you like flap your arms or like when you like just run or like walk around, the super prickly sensation like rubs against your skin and it's just like super like annoying and uncomfortable. That's what I'm talking about, and it feels worse when it's literally like your balls and like your sack area and like your groin. You're also more likely to hurt yourself if you shave your pubes using a facial razor. I accidentally cut my face like literally 3 times a week using this razor on my mustache from like being careless or like just not paying attention. And like, can you imagine like how much more likely you are to accidentally cut like something down there with this razor? Like, that's not ideal. I have cut myself on accident using this so many times, like on my butt, my face, my pubes, and I just definitely don't recommend this. It's also kind of hard to use on like super thick and long pubes. Like, I have super thick and long pubic hair, so like theoretically if I wanted to shave my pubes with this razor, I would have to like trim them first to get them to like an appropriate length, but I didn't know that then, so I kind of just like left it super long and thick, and I would try like to go with this, and it just made my arms super sore because you would have to like work harder and like just like push harder because the hairs are like super long and like thick. So just avoid this, okay? Once upon a time, a few mistakes ago, I tried using the Nair cream on my pubes. I actually filmed this on TikTok last summer when I was staying at my best friend's place in Philly, and let me tell you, it was an absolute disaster. Don't get me wrong, I love using the Nair on like my butthole and like my butt cheeks, but like for my pubes, it was absolutely horrendous. First of all, the Nair cream that I used back then like smelled really bad. They've improved a lot on their smells, so I will give them that. But the one I used smelled really bad. Second of all, it stung my pubes. Like, it stung so bad. I don't think you're even supposed to use Nair on like your sack area or like your shaft, but like I did because I was like, why not? Like, I use this on my butt, you know? So it stung, right? Like, it stung immediately, like after like 2-3 minutes. But the worst part was the Nair didn't like remove all of my hairs. They didn't come off with just like a typical wipe. You know how like when you use Nair, like you put it on your hairs and then like you wipe with like a damp paper towel and like the hairs come off? I had to like grab clumps of my pubes with the Nair on it to get them off, and like even doing that, like not all of the clumps came off. Like, what I'm trying to say is like not all of the hairs came off even when I grabbed like clumps of the hairs with Nair on them. And so my pubes were super patchy for about a couple weeks until they freaking grew back. Like, I'm not even kidding, I literally had bald spots on my pubes. Like, that was really unattractive. But even worse than that, the patches that didn't come off in the initial like session shed over the next couple weeks. Like, I kid you not, my pubes shed for weeks. Every single time I use the bathroom to pee or to poop, or every single time I change my clothes or change my underwear or like move my pants, I would see freaking pubes fall off. And this was after like a million showers and like a million times of me like cleaning my pubes and like making sure the cream wasn't on there anymore. But I continued to shed, and I was at my friend's place, so I would shed on his bed and like in his bathroom, and just pubes were just trickling down everywhere I went, and it was just absolutely horrible. In that same time period, like my pubes like that were still there, like the patches of pubes that were barely there, were super dry and like kind of sticky. And the skin, like the skin of those areas, it was just dry and not comfortable. So let's just avoid using hair removal cream on your pubes. Now let's talk about what you can actually use. So a couple years ago when I was first starting to post on TikTok, I got sent this razor, this electric razor from this company called Manspot. They specialize in men's grooming, and like all their razors are like for like your pubes and like for your butt and stuff. They wanted to do a collaboration, and so we did. And at first I was like, oh, it's just a collaboration. Like, you know, I don't need an electric razor. I know how to shave my pubes. I just use my regular razor. I'll just get paid and like move on. I'll just keep the souvenir. Wrong. I actually absolutely loved using the electric razor when I first used it. And by the way, this is not sponsored at all. Like, I wish I was, but like I'm not. I had such a good first impression with this razor that I literally just kept it with me and like used it every few months on my pubes every single time, and I would film it on TikTok, and I would do that without getting paid. I just like loved this razor so much. I don't know if it's like this specific brand's razor or like any electric razor for your pubes it's like supposed to be good or something. I'm not sure. I haven't tried any other razors, but like I just love how comfortable and convenient and easy it is to use an electric razor on your pubic hair. I always leave the little safety thing here on. I just kind of kept this on from like how it was in the box. It says 1.5 on it. I leave the safety on because I don't want to put any razors like directly on my sack or like my shaft areas. Like I know I'm gay, but like I definitely still want babies, and I want my sperm to like swim around and like not have to worry about being cut by a razor. So what I do is I leave this safety on, and then I turn on this button right here. And then how I shave depends on like the location of what I'm shaving. I start with like the area above my shaft, like my actual like pubic hair above like everything, like the one like that you see first. So above my shaft, I kind of just like push my shaft down, and then I kind of just like go in like an upwards swooping motion. I do this same motion for like the areas around my sack. So what I do is I push my balls to the side like this, and then I like go upwards in the direction of like my body. Same thing with the other side. I'll like push my balls aside to really get those hairs. For the hairs that grow on my actual shaft, I kind of like push my like shaft to the left, and then I kind of like go downwards towards my sack, if that makes sense. Like I kind of push my sack to the side, and then instead of going like in an upwards motion, I go like this way. You know what I mean? Like in the direction of the hair that's growing. So that's what I do for my shaft. And then for my balls, this one's a little bit different because I never put the razor directly on my balls, because even though there's a safety and it doesn't hurt, I still, you know, your balls are really sensitive, and I don't want to like push on my balls or like do something wrong and then it hurts a little bit. Like I'd rather just like hover over or like go as close as possible to my balls, but like never actually like pushing on the actual sack. So for my balls, I either do that, like I hover and then I like kind of trim as close as I can to the sack without actually touching it, or I grab clumps of the hairs on my sack like that, and then I go like that with the razor, and like I do each one. But that takes a while, so I just kind of like hover usually. And yeah, there's not too many hairs on my sack. It's mostly like above my shaft and like next to them, so good thing. But that's what I do for my sack. Again, this is not sponsored, but I will put the Amazon link down below for this razor if you are interested. This is definitely my best method yet. If you don't have an electric razor, or you just like are waiting for one to come in the mail, or you just don't want to use one, you can use like regular scissors. I definitely prefer like the bigger ones that you get from like Target or Office Depot, like this one. This was the way that I cut my pubes before using my Gillette facial razor, because if I was scared of using the razor, or like if I like was not in the mood for like a whole mess, I would just use regular scissors. These are actually the same scissors that I used to cut my stomach with when I was sad in high school. Definitely seek help if you cut yourself or if you engage in self-harm in any way. I don't condone that. There are better ways to deal with your problems. Talk to your friend, talk to your therapist, seek help. You got this. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. So with these, what I did was I would grab clumps of my pubes and then cut like each clump. I would try to not grab too many hairs for each individual clump, because if I grab too many hairs and it's just like total like less clumps, the trim will be a lot more uneven. So I just made sure that the clumps weren't too big, and I would just grab clumps and then cut them accordingly. This one's definitely like a lot more of a hassle compared to the electric razors, so I don't recommend, but I did use this before and it does work. A big reason why the electric razor and the scissors are a lot better than the Nair and using a facial razor is because your pubes won't get like a super tight shave and they won't grow back super uncomfortably and prickly, amongst all the other reasons that I just listed. I also like some hairs down there, like I just want them to be trimmed. And so that's why for this video, the electric razor definitely wins. It's comfortable, it's convenient, it's fast, it's easy. The trim is always even, it feels safe, and I'm not scared of like cutting my sack and like losing my ability to have kids. So yeah, I love this electric razor. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a good thumbs up. It really does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you want visual demonstrations of douching or anything bottoming related, please hit the links below for my new bottoming course. It's super good and newly updated, so please check it out. You won't be disappointed. And of course, don't forget to check out my DISCREET premium douche kits. Thank you again. Leave a comment down below telling me your favorite way to shave your pubes, or if you have any video recommendations for yours truly. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.